Hey everyone, Zephyr here, and welcome to my channel. Today we are building a house for my Sims 2 Build a City Challenge neighborhood in Mountain View. And I feel like I need to provide a little bit of context about the Sim that lives here before we get too deep into the video and I'm rambling about something that has nothing to do with the Sims. I already have the Sim created for this household, and I think he is gonna end up being a grilled cheese aspiration Sim. He's currently a pleasure Sim, but I do not see pleasure in his future unless he has grilled cheese with him. You know what I mean? I don't know. Here's a picture of the Sim. He's just giving me grilled cheese aspiration vibes, and I haven't played with the grilled cheese aspiration in forever in The Sims 2, so I kind of want to play it with the Sim in this neighborhood, and I've chosen him to be my guy, my grilled cheese guy. We are actually getting really close to releasing the first episode of this Build a City Challenge Let's Play, and I'm really excited about it. I had a Build a City Challenge Let's Play for a while that I accidentally ruined by ruining the neighborhood. So I'm excited to start this one and take some precautions so that doesn't happen again. But enough about The Sims. I mean, you can still pay attention to me building The Sims, but I'm gonna talk about something else because that's what I like to do during these voiceovers. So about a week or so ago, it was my 30th birthday, and I actually spent it about 3 or 4 hours away from here in my boyfriend's city of Halifax, Nova Scotia. And a lot of times when I go there, we tend to just we always get a hotel room, which is relatively nice, right? Like it's a luxury, whatever. But a lot of the times we tend to just stay in the hotel room and we don't really venture out all that much. Like we do sometimes, but we don't make an effort to do it every single day that I'm there. And this time we did, and I have stories to tell from these days for you guys now. Okay, we're gonna backtrack for 2 seconds and talk about The Sims, just because I remembered that one of the most exciting things that happened the very first day I got there was the fact that I got to try The Sims 2 on PSP for the first time. My boyfriend just kind of handed me his PS Vita. Don't ask me how he got PSP games on his PS Vita. That's a whole nother thing, and if I talk about it on this video, I might get in trouble, so I'm not gonna get in trouble. But yeah, he gave me his PS Vita so I could play The Sims 2 for PSP, and I was literally flabbergasted. I never realized, I never sought out people playing The Sims 2 for PSP because I don't want to say I wasn't interested. It's just I don't want to spoil these things for myself if I want to eventually play them. But these Sims look like vanilla Sims 2 Sims, and they were in Strange Town, and the game was just so quirky and well done. I was amazed, and I guess I shouldn't have been too surprised because I always tend to have a good experience when it comes to Sims console games. I think they're a lot of fun and they do things that the main games do not. And but I don't know, I was just blown away from this game, and I think it's just because I'm such a big Sims 2 fan, and I can't believe I slept on it for all these years. So the highlight of day one was to pretty much play that game. I mean, by the time I got there, it was already 6-7 p.m. There's only so much trouble you can get into after those times. By my standards. I know there's definitely more trouble to be had at nighttime than daytime, but for me personally, there's only so much trouble I can get into past 7 p.m. because I get tired. So the next day was definitely a bit more adventurous. I went axe throwing and did some archery at the same little location. It was basically a thing set up by my boyfriend's friend because it was her birthday is actually a day before mine. And for her birthday, we were doing that and going to a Japanese restaurant. And it was my first time ever attempting archery or axe throwing. And I wasn't particularly good at either of them. At one point, I almost chopped my boyfriend's beard off. Okay, that's dramatic, okay? I didn't hurl an axe towards him or anything. But I kind of held the axe up and it almost got him in the chin. But I was still better at the axe throwing than I was the archery. But if you never did any of those things, I highly recommend it. It was a really good time. And the Japanese restaurant we went to was so good. It was my first time trying a Japanese restaurant that wasn't sushi, and I ordered this egg rice dish. I don't remember what it's called. I need to like get myself more well versed with Japanese culture and food because it was incredible. And you would think I would take a picture of this dish, but I didn't. I took a picture of this little curtain situation because it reminded me of curtains that we have in The Sims. I don't know. I always see a curtain like that in game and I'm like, how am I supposed to use it? And I was like, oh, okay, I can use it like this. I can make a restaurant and have it set up like they do in this picture. I don't know. That's how my brain works. I wish I would have took a picture of the food I ate because I really liked it. And honestly, at the time, could have went for seconds because I liked it a lot. The next day, we went to see a Cirque du Soleil show, which was incredible. We got these like really nice seats. The show is called Corteo, if you've heard of it. It's a show about a clown. And I don't want to give away too much spoilers. Like, I found that the experience was incredible, and I wouldn't want to spoil it for anyone. But I'll show you a couple pictures. Like, we had really good seats, and I'm like so grateful for the opportunity to be at the show and experience it. And then after the show, we got trapped in the back rooms. Like, literally. Like, here's pictures to prove it. Okay, I'll provide a little crumb of context. Our hotel was really close to the event center where the show was happening. And we were able to basically walk through a mall in order to get to the street where the event center was on. And this mall is like one of those not abandoned, but not particularly busy malls you often hear about on TikTok. The dying mall with like 3 stores. It's like that kind of place. The main hub of that building is its food court, which has like a McDonald's, Tim Hortons, and A&W. And there's a couple cute little stores and salons in the building, but other than that, it's not filled up with businesses. And honestly, there's not a lot of people like there all the time. Like, sometimes it's pretty dead. Anyway, the hotel was attached to that mall, and we were able to walk through the mall to get to the event center, so we decided to do that. And it honestly was the back rooms. I'll show you some pictures of what we walked through. The section of the mall had no active stores. It had spaces for stores, but there was no active business in that section of the mall. And nobody, not a soul was in that corner of the mall. It literally felt illegal to be there. I felt like security was gonna come and like yell at us. And to make matters worse, when we were heading to the event center, when we were walking down this hall, we realized that the escalator to get to the main street was broken down. So like they had caution tape around it, right? And I'm like, it doesn't feel like we should be here. Like, there was like not a soul in sight. So we ended up taking like a little elevator up, and we were able to get out of the doors that way. But like both times, to the event center and coming back from the event center, there was not a soul there, and I was so paranoid that we were gonna get in trouble. And it was like especially weird when we were coming back, because a lot of people were obviously exiting the building at the same time, right? And like it was like a flood of people coming out of the building, and we walked with them for like a minute or two, and then we were the only ones that entered the entrance to the mall, and suddenly we were alone after being in a big flood of people. Like, it didn't feel like we were allowed to do that, but we did it anyways. And that's my story about how I accidentally almost got trapped in the back rooms. No clickbait. Then the next day was actually my actual birthday, and we went and got Cow's ice cream. And since it was my birthday, it was my very first time trying Cow's ice cream. It's pretty famous in the Maritimes, but I had never tried it before. But yeah, since it was my birthday, I tried their birthday cake flavor, and it was incredible. I highly recommend this ice cream if you're ever in Charlottetown, Halifax, or wherever else they happen to serve it. And then we did something that I've been wanting to do forever. It was my birthday present from my boyfriend, and that was go on the Harbor Hopper. If you don't know what the Harbor Hopper is, it's basically this little duck boat that gives a tour around downtown Halifax on land and on sea. So they tour the streets of Halifax and then just drive into the water, and we go on a little boat ride. And I had actually went on the tour before in like grade 8, and like I said, I'm 30 now, so it's been a while, but I've been wanting to go on the tour again because I had such a good time the first time, and I had such a good time the second time. I love history, I love riding on boats, I love water, and the tour was just perfect for me. So I'm really glad I got to experience that. Overall, it was such a good little trip. I'm glad we actually went out and did some things, because I think oftentimes when I go there, we are cooped up and we don't make an effort to go on little dates. So it was kind of nice doing that, even though I appreciate staying, you know, in our room and doing our own things sometimes too. Like, I need that, but I also think it's important to experience things in life, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to do that. Basically, I just want the summer to be fun, you know? I want to do things and have fun. I feel like that's important. But anyway, I want to talk about the build a little bit more for a second. It's only 1 bedroom, but there's definitely room to add on to it if I need to in the future. And this build is actually up for download down below on my Patreon if you're interested in downloading it. It will always be for free, though. I'm not charging for my builds. I feel like sometimes people hear the word Patreon and download and they get kind of scared, but I'm not charging people for my builds. Don't worry, that's not happening. What makes this build unique is the fact that the other homes in this neighborhood are also up for download, and they're kind of in a similar style to this build. And I did that on purpose because a lot of times in real life neighborhoods, like especially newer neighborhoods, when they build a bunch of houses at once, the houses tend to look similar because they're by the same architect or company. And I was just trying to replicate that in The Sims. So I feel like if you're trying to go for like a realistic neighborhood, you might want to download these houses for that reason. Also, I have a question for you guys. I'm just curious. I'm wondering how many of you follow me on TikTok and YouTube. Like, this question is obviously directed to my subscribers. I'm just curious about how much of my audience from TikTok kind of followed me over to YouTube, because the vast majority of my online following is on TikTok. And I'm just curious about the amount of people from my TikTok who happen to also be following me here, because I feel like TikTok audiences don't necessarily translate well into YouTube audiences. I know there's a couple of you though, because I recognize some people from my TikTok commenting on here. I just want to know like a rough idea about how many of you actually come from TikTok. And not for any particular reason, I just want my curiosity to be satisfied. But anyway, we are getting towards the end of the video now. It was a little bit of a short one, but there's only so much I can do in Build a City Challenge build videos. Like, I'm working on a budget, okay? It's gonna be a little short. That is just the nature of the Build a City Challenge. My Sims are broke at first, but hopefully eventually some Sims will be rich and we'll be able to build more extravagant buildings. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye, guys.